Berlin was once a city divided, not just by ideology, but by concrete. For nearly 30 years, a massive wall stood between East and West, separating families, limiting freedom, and symbolizing an intense period in modern history. This was the Berlin Wall. For millions, it wasn't just a structure. It was a daily reminder that their lives were not their own. To understand how it fell, we need to go back to the end of World War II. Germany had been defeated. Like much of Europe, it was reshaped by the powers that had won the war. The country was divided. The West was controlled by the United States and its allies. The East fell under the influence of the Soviet Union. Two different systems, two different visions of the future, and right in the middle of it all was Berlin. Even though Berlin was located deep inside East Germany, it too was split in two. West Berlin became a small island of freedom, surrounded entirely by Soviet-controlled territory. And that created tension, a lot of tension, because Berlin was no longer just a city. It was a symbol of a world divided. In the West, the economy grew. Opportunities expanded. People could travel, speak freely, and build their own futures. But in the East, life was controlled. Movement was restricted. Choices were limited, and the government watched closely. People noticed. And many made a decision. Between 1949 and 1961, millions of people fled East Germany for a better life in the West. They left behind homes, jobs, even families. They risked everything just for a chance at freedom. And for the East German government, this became a crisis. They were losing their people, their workers, their future. So in 1961, they acted. Without warning, the border was sealed. Barbed wire appeared overnight, cutting through streets and lives. Families woke up separated. Friends found themselves on opposite sides, with no way to cross. And soon after, the temporary barrier became permanent. Concrete replaced wire. Towers were built. Guards were armed. But this wasn't just a barrier. It was a system designed to stop people at any cost. Watchtowers overlooked the border. Floodlights lit up the night. Armed guards patrolled constantly. Between the walls was a deadly open space, known as the Death Strip. Crossing it was nearly impossible, and often fatal. Still, people tried, because the desire for freedom is stronger than fear. Some dug tunnels beneath the wall, others hid inside vehicles. There were even those who built hot air balloons and flew over it. Some succeeded. Many did not. But every attempt told the same story. People refused to accept the wall as permanent. As years passed, the Berlin Wall became a powerful symbol of the Cold War, a world divided between two systems and two ideologies. But by the 1980s, something began to change. Cracks started to appear. The economy in East Germany was weakening. People were growing frustrated, tired of restrictions, tired of control, tired of waiting. At the same time, change was coming from the East. In the Soviet Union, a new leader came to power, Mikhail Gorbachev. He introduced reforms, policies that opened the system and reduced strict control over Eastern Europe. And that had consequences. In 1989, countries across Eastern Europe began opening their borders. Suddenly, East Germans had new ways to escape. Inside East Germany, something even more powerful was happening. The people began to rise. Protests. Cities filled with voices demanding change, demanding freedom, and for the first time, the government couldn't ignore it. Then came the moment that changed everything. November 9th, 1989. An ordinary press conference. A government official was announcing new travel rules. But then came a question. When do these rules take effect? He hesitated, and then gave an answer that would change history. As far as I know, immediately. That single word spread within minutes. People heard it, and they reacted. They didn't wait. They immobed. Thousands of people began walking toward the Berlin Wall. Checkpoint after checkpoint. Crowds gathered. The guards were unprepared. They had no clear orders, no instructions, no plan. The situation was tense. But then, something unexpected did. The guards stepped aside, the gates opened, and in that moment, history changed. People rushed through. They cried. They laughed. They embraced strangers. People climbed onto the wall itself. With hammers, with tools, they began tearing it down. Piece by piece, what once divided them now brought them together. The images spread across the world. Millions watched as the wall fell. Less than a year later, Germany was officially and soon after, the Cold War came to an end. The Berlin Wall was gone, not because of war, but because people demanded change and refused to stay silent. Today, only fragments remain, but its meaning has not disappeared. It reminds us, no system lasts forever. No wall is truly permanent. And when people stand together, history can change faster than anyone expects. This was the moment the world changed.